The world is screaming, but you are a tomb. Right now, billions of people are drowning in the shallow end of their own frantic existence. They are sprinting toward a finish line that doesn't exist, gasping for air, clutching their phones like oxygen masks. They are terrified that if they stop for 1 second, they will be forgotten. They are slaves to the urgent, puppets of the now, and prisoners of a social contract they never even signed. They wake up in a panic, chase ghosts until they bleed, and collapse into a shallow sleep only to do it all again. They think they are living, but they are just vibrating at the frequency of anxiety. They are walking corpses animated by notifications. They have traded their sovereignty for the digital approval of strangers they don't even like. They are the livestock of the attention economy, harvested for their dopamine and their outrage. But the untouchable mind knows a secret that would drive the masses insane. Silence is the ultimate predator. Most people are terrified of stillness because in the silence, they finally have to hear the sound of their own hollow lives. They stay busy to avoid the void. They react to every email, every ping, and every demand because it makes them feel necessary. They have built an identity out of being wanted by a world that doesn't even know their name. They're walking open wounds, letting every stranger, every headline, and every deadline salt the flesh. They think their busyness is a badge of honor, but it's actually a confession of insignificance. They are so afraid of being left behind that they never realize they are running in a hamster wheel designed by people who profit from their exhaustion. But you have stepped off the treadmill. You have realized that the only way to win a rig game is to stop playing. Carl Jung understood that the greatest threat to the soul is the herd mind. Until you make the unconscious conscious, you will call your frantic business ambition and your anxiety responsibility. You will spend your life reacting to the demands of the collective, never realizing that the collective is a headless beast driven by fear. But the elite understand that true power isn't in how fast you move. It's in how still you can remain while everyone else is losing their minds. When you stop rushing, you stop being a target. When you stop reacting to the world's fake emergencies, you take back the throne of your own time. You become the observer, not the victim. You become the one who watches the storm, not the one who is tossed by it. If you are truly at peace, the demands of the world are nothing more than the buzzing of distant flies. They are noise. They are data. They are not your masters. The sky does not rush to accommodate the clouds. The mountain does not shift its base because the wind is blowing. You must become the mountain. Why do you give the world permission to dictate your pulse? To feel behind is to tell the universe that you are a servant to a clock you didn't build. It is the ultimate form of self-sabotage. You are essentially saying, my peace is a commodity that anyone can buy with a notification. That is a lie. That is a junk habit of a mind that has forgotten its own sovereignty. The elite aren't busy. They are intentional. They aren't available. They are selective. They understand the law of the void. The world will fill every inch of space you give it with its own garbage. If you don't build a wall around your time, the world will colonize your mind until there is nothing left of you. Every yes you give to an unimportant demand is a no to your own greatness. When you tell the world no, you are telling yourself yes. You are revealing exactly where your boundaries are. You are showing the world that you are not a resource to be harvested, but a force to be respected. You are the high-value asset that requires a clearance level most people will never achieve. Neuroscience proves that chronic hustle is just a high-functioning stress response. Your brain is stuck in survival mode, flooding your system with cortisol and adrenaline, chemicals that keep you sharp but brittle. You are one setback away from a total collapse because you have no foundation. You are built on the speed of your reactions, not the strength of your character. But you can rewire that. You can choose to find your power in the pause. You can train your brain to see a crisis and feel nothing, not a lazy nothing, but a vast, strategic stillness. This is the apex state, the ability to remain calm while the world burns around you. It is the tactical advantage of the sniper in a world of frantic brawlers. When you stop needing to be caught up, you finally have the clarity to get ahead. Most people are so busy looking at the feet of the person in front of them that they never see the horizon. They are competing for scraps while the entire feast is waiting for the one who has the courage to sit still. The paradox is that the person who makes the world wait is the only one the world truly values. Why? Because they're the only ones who can't be bought. They aren't vibrating with the stench of busy. They are a fortress, and the fortress doesn't care how loud the crowd is shouting at the gates. They have shifted from the frequency of survival to the frequency of creation. Think about the sheer arrogance of the world demanding your presence at every moment. Every app, every person, every news cycle is a thief trying to steal the only currency that actually matters, your attention. If you give it away freely, you are a pauper. If you guard it with your life, you are king. The 1% don't have more time than you. They just have more no's. They have realized that 99% of what the world calls urgent is actually irrelevant. They let the noise settle. They let the dust fall. They wait for the moment of absolute clarity before they strike. They move with the lethality of a predator that has spent hours in total stillness. The world is screaming for more, faster, now. It wants you to be a cog in a machine that never stops grinding. But you are the stillness that remains when the noise stops. You don't need to keep up with them. You need to return to yourself. You need to realize that you are the architect of your own reality, and no architect builds their masterpiece while running a marathon. You need the silence. You need the vacuum. You need the space where the world cannot reach you. You need to be unreachable to be unshakable. So let the emails pile up. Let the messages go unread. Let the opportunities pass by like leaves on a river. Don't flinch. Don't explain. Don't defend your right to be still. If they get angry because you didn't respond fast enough, let them be angry. Their anger is just a reflection of their own lack of boundaries. Their impatience is a diagnostic report of their own internal chaos. Just watch the frantic motion of the masses with a quiet, lethal smile, knowing that your kingdom is not of this clock. Your time is your own, and your soul is finally, for the first time, quiet. Most people will never understand this. They will call you lazy or arrogant or out of touch. Let them. They are the ones drowning. You are the ones standing on the shore. They are the ones vibrating with the frequency of a dying world. You are the one tuned to the frequency of eternity. You are the only one who isn't falling because you have stopped trying to grab onto things that are dropping. You have realized that gravity only works on those who are trying to stay up. When you are the ground itself, you cannot fall. The world thinks it's moving past you. In reality, it is spinning out of control while you remain at the center. You are the axis. You are the eye of the storm. The more the world screams, the quieter you become. The more the world rushes, the slower you move. This is the ultimate subversion. This is the death of the puppet. This is the birth of the master. You are no longer a mirror reflecting the frantic energy of the herd. You are the source. Stop trying to fix the mirror. Stop trying to keep up with the reflection. Turn inward. Close the gates. Let the world scream until its throat is raw. You have nothing to prove and no one to catch. You have already won the only game that matters, the game of your own attention. You have found the silence that exists behind the noise, the stillness behind the motion, and the power behind the restraint. Every irritation is a diagnostic report. Every trigger is a map to your own unhealed shadow. The majority of the population spends their entire existence trying to control the wind. They want people to like them, the economy to favor them, and the universe to play fair. They are exhausted, begging the world to be gentle so they can feel okay. But the untouchable mind realizes that control is a hallucination. You cannot control the storm, but you can become the mountain. When you seek validation, you hand over a leash. When you need a situation to go your way, you become a slave to the outcome. But the moment you drop the need for life to be fair, you become dangerous. You become free. This isn't just high-level philosophy. It's a rewiring of your nervous system. Neuroscience proves that emotional reactivity is a junk habit, a neural loop that gets stronger every time you take the bait. but you can snap the circuit. You can train your brain to see an insult and feel nothing, not a cold, dead nothing, but a vast, spacious silence. Imagine you're a sky. The storm rages, lightning tears through the clouds, and the wind howls. But the sky doesn't move. The sky doesn't take the storm personally. It just holds the space for it to happen and wait for it to pass. Stop playing the game of pieces and become the board. When you stop reacting, you stop being a target. People will try to provoke you, and their words will simply fall to the floor like dead leaves. They will try to manipulate you, and they'll find nothing to grab onto. The paradox is this: the moment you stop needing the world to change, the world starts bending to you. When you stop chasing, things start following. When you stop fearing what they think, you become the most magnetic person in the room. The game of life is won or lost in the split second between the trigger and the response. In that gap lies your entire destiny. You can choose to be a puppet, or you can choose to be the observer. One leads to a life of noise. The other leads to a life of power. Master your perception, and you will find that the world never had any power over you at all. It was always you. It was always your energy. It was always your choice. So, next time the world tries to throw you off balance, stay still. Let the chaos scream. Let the insults fly. Just watch it all with a quiet smile, knowing that while the storm is loud, the mountain doesn't move. The elite realize that problems are just the cost of admission for a high-level life. They don't pray for lighter burdens. They pray for broader shoulders. They don't look for the exit when things get chaotic. They look for the center of the hurricane. This level of mastery requires a radical divorce from your own ego. The ego is the part of you that gets offended. The ego is the part of you that feels disrespected. But who is there to be disrespected? If you are a vast, empty space, where's the insult land? It's like trying to punch a hole in the wind. The fist goes right through, and the wind doesn't even notice. When you stop identifying as a small, fragile body and start identifying as the awareness that witnesses it all, you become invulnerable. You aren't the person getting yelled at. You are the space in which the yelling is happening. The world is a hall of mirrors, and most people are terrified of the reflections. They see a traitor and feel betrayed, not realizing the traitor is just a personification of their own hidden capacity for deceit. But when you master the shadow, the mirrors lose their power. Your interpretation is your only reality. Stop asking for the world to stop screaming. It won't. The world is a chaotic, beautiful, violent mess, and always will be. The scream only hurts if you try to scream back. If you become the tomb, the place where the noise goes to die, you unlock a level of power that looks like magic. You become the person who can walk through a war zone with a heartbeat that never skips a beat. You become the person who can lose everything and still feel like they have won. You become the mountain. The world can wait. The world must wait. You have arrived, and you are not going anywhere.